Hi, everyone. So welcome to the Personio product update. Thank you all for coming. So this is our second one. So hopefully I will, there's some returning people from October. And yeah, nice to have you on board. So let's get started. Okay, so just to introduce me and the team. So I am Sanne. I'm going to be the moderator. So I'm a customer growth manager for the Benelux. Last time, if you were here, I was still in emerging markets. So I've changed region. Really nice to have you all on board. So with me today, I have Lisa. Lisa is the live Q&A moderator, and also we have Erica and Connor. So Erica and Connor are going to be chat support. They're going to be answering questions as you ask them. Yes, so please use the Q&A function, and also make sure to use the upvote button with the questions, so we don't get too many of the same questions. But yeah, please use that Q&A section. All right, let's get started. So today we are going to be talking about employee management. We're going to talk about recruiting and also about performance and development. So first thing that I wanted to talk about was scheduling employee changes in bulk. So this is actually something that you might not come across if you're not actively looking for it, which is why I wanted to show you in the PPU. So basically, before you could only bulk change if you were making the change immediately. So it's a nice feature that we can now, let's go over here. So we'll go to the employee list. So we can now choose, for example, all of these employees to schedule changes ahead of time. So to do that, choose the employees you want to make the changes for. We go to Actions and Edit Profile. In this example, I can say that we are going to change office. All of these employees are going to be changing office. They are going to be moving to Dublin office. We can then choose a custom date. So we are choosing here, oh God, that didn't work. There we go, the 1st of April. So now if I save this, all of these employees, they will change to the Dublin office on the 1st of April. So just a small change, but I think it can add a lot of value. And that brings me on to the next point, which is also similar. So this is the calendar view option. And again, this is one that you might not have come across if you're not actively looking for it, which is why, again, I wanted to mention it here. So over here, if we click into calendar, at the top, we can actually toggle between me, my team, my direct reports, people absent today, or employees. And you can also customize this. So for example, me, then I can toggle, oh, what's happening here? Go back over here. We can toggle to my team. And for example, here, we can see the absences that are here. If we need to make any changes, if we need to approve them, we also see that here. So it's a nice overview to get everything in the one place. So going back to the PowerPoint, do you have any questions about this? I know they're quite minor changes that you might not have questions about, but if you do, I would love to hear them.
Sasha is asking, is it only possible to change one attribute at one time?
Yes, so you can only, let me go back. So you can only choose one attribute. So you would have to go to Edit Profile. So you would only have this screen here. So it'd be one attribute at one time. From my experience, I don't know, there might be some feedback on this, but there usually aren't too many attributes that need to be scheduled in bulk ahead of time, but definitely we'd love to hear feedback on that as well.
Okay, perfect. I will hand it over to you now.
Perfect, thank you. All right, so we are moving to recruiting. I know not everyone has recruiting, but for those who have, I think this is a really, really nice feature. So if I go down to recruiting, we now have a new section called Home. What this is basically the updates from the past 30 days. So over here, we can see we have comments, messages, evaluations. We also see the upcoming interviews. Here you can toggle between me for my positions. So for example, on Thursday, we see there's an interview scheduled for the general application. And down here, we can also see all the overdue applications. So I have a lot of overdue applications. I am sure yours won't look like this, but obviously a demo environment means I am not actively going through them. Something really important to mention here is that we need to make sure that if we go to jobs and we go, for example, general application, that you have to be in the hiring team to show up in the home. So for example, I'm in the hiring team here, which is why in my home section, I can see all these changes, the comments, messages, evaluations, even though I wasn't the one making those changes. So just something important to keep note of. Any questions about that?
So far, there has been a question from Andrea. She asked it would be, it's not a question. It's a recommendation. She said it would be good to mark them as seen. But also from Irene, I think it was a question from the previous
Yeah.
topic, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. But I'm going to read it out loud. She said that she asked, do all absences count as people absent today, also custom ones?
So what we have here is we have a drop-down menu. So you can actually choose all absence types, paid vacation, sick days, etc. So you can actually toggle between that yourself if you want to see certain absence types.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And also, Sarah is asking a question. Can the updates on the recruitment landing page be marked as done?
Let me go over here. So I believe you're talking about these updates here. So what's important to note, these are actually not to-dos as such. So there's not necessarily a reason to have it as done. Because, for example, if we look at this one, an evaluation, this is just, well, this is probably not the bit. Here we go. So this is actually a form that's been filled in by Sabrina Smith. It's an evaluation, so it's already been done. So it's not necessarily a to-do list where you then have to click done. It's just what's happened in the past 30 days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the elaboration.
No
And so far, no other questions has been arised. Sorry.
Yes.
But I would love to encourage the attendees to ask questions if you have some questions coming up in your mind. And yeah, so I'm handing over to you, Sanne.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, please ask as many questions. I realize we're flying through this one, so we actually only have one more section, which is the performance and development. So definitely, if more questions come up about this, ask away. So performance and development, I think these are both really nice features. Again, they're features that you might not necessarily have seen if you're not actively looking for it or if you've missed the communication about it. So this is why I wanted to bring it up here in the PPU. So the first one is feature visibility. We have within performance and development, we have obviously the training module, the goals, cycles, and continuous feedback. I personally have had a lot of questions sometimes when a customer has just bought performance and development that they don't want all of these features to be visible. And that's because maybe they want to roll it out one by one, or potentially they're never going to use training. So they want to hide that feature so employees don't get confused by it. So what we have done is if we go into performance and development and into settings, we now have this toggle here, the feature visibility. And something I guess also to know, important to note, I know if you've had performance and development a little bit longer, these settings used to be in the actual settings part of your account, but they've moved to performance and development and settings. So over here, we have feature visibility. And over here, you can just very easily click the features you don't want or do want to be visible. So I am going to remove continuous feedback and training. And sorry, my save button is behind my laptop screen there. So I'm going to save this. And I am going to log in as Melly. So she is an employee. She doesn't have any admin rights. She'd just be a normal user of Personio. So we see with her, training has now disappeared. And if we click into feedback, we also see that the continuous feedback has been removed. So just a nice little feature that you can use. And finally, we have form templates. So form templates are, again, it's something that's been requested. I think it adds a lot of value. And again, something that you might not see if you're not actively creating new templates, if you're using the same templates for new cycles, etc. So this is why I wanted to show you this one as well. So let's log out as Melly, and I'm back in my own profile. So I'm going to settings. So as I mentioned, the settings are now here, also for the form templates, which used to be in the account settings. Over here, I have employee self-reflection, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and edit this form. On the left, we see 3 different sections. So these are sections I've just created already. Really easy to add one in. Just click plus up here. We see the new section. So we can write self-evaluation, etc., etc. We can write a description here as well. And then similar to before, really easy to add questions here as well. We have the same type of questions. And if you want to preview it, we have that toggle here at the top. And here we can see the different sections with the different questions linked to each section. So section 2, a couple of questions, and then section 3. So that was it about performance and development. Just a couple of updates. I would love to hear any questions about this, or yeah.
Yeah, sure. We have like a few questions. And the first one would be from Teresa. She asked, like, is it possible to export the absences within a team as Excel?
So that I believe would be Erica O'Connor. Could you reply in the chat to that question? That's one that's not directly linked to this, so I don't want to make any false promises, but I believe you could pull a report from that. But again, I will just leave that to chat support if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. And coming to the next question, is it possible to create an ongoing cycle for one-on-one conversations, which take place either every week, bi-weekly, or monthly?
Yeah, so there's different ways you can do that. So let me actually just toggle this one back on. So what I really like is this continuous feedback. So I need to save that again. Sorry, the save was just hidden. So something I really like about the continuous feedback is that so for example, I can give feedback here about IV Web. And what I can do is actually have a template. And as you can see, I actually have a one-on-one template here. So what you could do is actually use that continuous feedback. Instead of having a cycle to do this, you could do this with that continuous feedback. So with every one-on-one, you use a set template that you can create in the form section. So in the section that I showed you before, in the settings, obviously these are just example questions, but you could actually have a proper like a well set out form. Of course, you can use continuous feedback as default and just have free text as well to do that. But this would be a way where you can keep where you can do that one-on-one feedback. You can also, for example, if I log back in as Melly, or if I log in as Ivy Webb, she's the head of IT. So she has direct reports, and you can see her the bar on the left changes, so she doesn't have all the admin rights that I had previously. And she can still do this. She can go to feedback, and she's giving feedback on, for example, Will Foster, who's her direct report, and we can do it in this way. Well, I'm just going to fill this in. What would then happen, we can share feedback with supervisor. In that case, I would be the supervisor, so it wouldn't be too necessary. So if I log in as Will Foster now, and I go to feedback, and I go to about you, I will see this feedback in this list over here. And then, of course, the alternative is to have cycles to do this. Let's go to cycles. But it would be important to name them correctly, because as you can see, the list would build up. I wouldn't recommend it for one-on-one feedback weekly. I would definitely use the continuous feedback. If it's monthly, quarterly, then you could do it in this way. But it's important to name those cycles correctly and accurately.
Thank you so much, Sanne, for the detailed elaboration. Well, we have still time left, so I have also seen there are a few more questions within the Q&A section, and the next one would be from Claudia. She's asking, is it possible to use the cycles for onboarding surveys? If so, what would be the configuration to have the analytics tab functioning?
Okay, so good question. 2 points here. So you could do that. So you would create a new cycle. You would need that form. One important thing to note is it wouldn't be anonymous if you're looking for an anonymous answer. You could do that by creating a new cycle. You would have to make the form accordingly, so it's onboarding feedback. And sorry, Lisa, the question, what was the second part of the question there?
The second part was, if so, what would be the configuration to have the analytics tab functioning?
Yes, good question. So what we would then need to do, I'm just going to go into form templates. So you could have, for example, onboarding template. What we would need to do is make sure it's a scale question. So with the scale questions, that's how we can use those analytics. So yeah, making sure that is the scale that you're opting for. And of course, if you don't want those analytics and you just want some feedback as well, some open text, and of course you can add in other question forms, but you won't get this analytics tab at the top being filled in.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sorry,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you, Lisa. The other thing I wanted to mention there is that we have launched a new product called Surveys. And that would be, it's designed more specific to that. So having anonymous surveys, being able to get surveys on those onboarding, if you want to have engagement surveys, etc. So that would be more, I guess, specific to that, but you could do it in the performance and development.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much. And coming to the next question, from Frederike, she asked, can you exclude certain absence types from the out of day feature on the home dashboard and the absence calendar? For example, remote work.
Yes. So what you could do is, I believe, let's have a look. So let's choose all absence types. So what you could do is actually just select the absences here that you would like. So for example, we'll select all except for paid vacation. Obviously, it'd be remote work, but you could do that here in this calendar here.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, we have some more questions within the Q&A section. From Amy, there's a question. We have an online training. People can do this in their own time, but we need to register when they have finished the training. Is that possible to add in training?
Yes, definitely. So for example, we could go, I guess it could be done in different ways. So you could schedule this training for them. We could go to my training, add completed courses. So for example, first aid, description, and we can say that it was completed, let's say the 20th of January, with the expiration being the 20th of January of 2025. And let's say that 20 hours was spent on this course. We can add this course, and I believe, let me see. So yeah, so you could add courses in that way without having to plan it and set in the time and invite people to those courses. You can just add them to the completed courses in this way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Sanne. And we can like have one last question, I would say, and then we can move on like with the feedback poll at the end.
Okay.
And the last question would be a question from Francisca. It's a general question. Is there like a place to view any changes that we made recently? For example, export section being shut down, subcompany renamed to legal entity, new accrual policy settings, etc. It would be nice to have a historic overview to keep up with all the changes, smaller or larger.
Yeah, that's a good question. Also good feedback. Maybe we can leave that question for Erica O'Connor here. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely good feedback either way.
Yeah, for sure. We can also like put it in the recap post, which will go live, I think, on Monday in the community website of Personio. And there you can like look it up, what we couldn't answer during the live webinar. And yeah.
Perfect. All right. So moving on. So I just wanted to give a reminder about the newsletter. So we have webinars, we have PPUs, etc. coming up. So you can, I think the sign up should be in the chat. So yeah, if you want to sign up to get reminders, please do that. The next PPU will be in April. So we have this quarterly. The next PPU is yeah, I think it's going to be a really good one. We have some really exciting things coming up in the next quarter that will be released. So I'm actually really looking forward to that one. And I'll make sure it's a little bit longer and some extra updates. So that's April 24th. That will also be coming out in the newsletter. And then finally, yeah, I see that there's already some feedback coming in for the PPU. Thank you so much for the feedback. Yeah, really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a really great day. And hopefully I will see you all in April. Bye-bye.